Hi students, welcome to today's class. In the previous lecture, we have covered about what is meant by cloud computing, the need of cloud computing, benefits and limitations of cloud, some of the real-time applications we have discussed, and we end the topic with discussing cloud components. As an assignment or activity, I have given to you to create a Google document using Google Docs. Some of you have not been submitted the assignments. Please submit them through Google Classroom. We have also discussed about frequently asked questions like cloud computing, benefits and limitations, nothing but advantages and disadvantages, and cloud components. Means you have to write about clients, data center, and distributed server. Let us see now what is the topics to be discussed in this lecture. In today's lecture, we are going to discuss about grid computing. What are the differences between grid computing and cloud computing? What is the SaaS, software as a service? Now let us start with infrastructure. This topic will repeat again in the coming chapters. So let us see now what is meant by infrastructure. Here the infrastructure will depend on the application and how the provider has chosen to build the cloud solution. Means it depends upon the usage of the client. How to build the cloud solution means in a big organization there might be a requirement of lot of infrastructure. Means they require more number of servers, more processing cycles, like that they need. So infrastructure is not a one size fits all for all companies. Fits for all companies, it does not fit for one size. Means a smaller company may need some infrastructure with one CPU cycle or one server, they can run their applications. But a large application need to have a lot of infrastructure. We will discuss more about infrastructure as a service in the future chapters. Now, what is meant by grid computing? Grid computing is group of computers connected via network and work together on a common task, which is usually a large task. They will act like a virtual supercomputer. Okay, in grid computing we can share the resources, computers resources. So the processing power, memory and data are all shared among the community. Who are authorized users can use the computer resources so that the processing time is reduced and there is an increase in efficiency and it minimizes the wastage of resources. Okay, students, what is meant by grid computing? There will be a systems which are physical systems will be there which are connected via a network, and they act on or they work on a common tasks in order to get one common output. So in grid computing we will share the resources. Grid computing is becoming popular for several reasons. One of the reason is it is cost effective way, means to we will share the resources, computer resources among the computers. So it is one of the cost effective way, and it is a way to solve problems which need a tremendous amount of computing power. We have already seen that grid computing acts like a virtual supercomputer. So grid computing is one of the way to solve the problems which need high amount of computing powers. In such a cases also we will go for grid computing. Another reason is the resources of several computers can be shared cooperatively without without one computer managing the other. There will not be any master and slaves in this type of computing. All the resources will be shared cooperatively. Overall, grid computing is a group of networked computers which work together as a virtual supercomputer to perform large tasks. Okay. Another example is when we need to develop any software, we can divide them into modules and send them the pieces of program to thousands of computers. And it can be done throughout the computers of an organization, or it can be done as a form of public collaboration also. We can develop that software. Public collaboration means we will give the piece of the code in to be developed by public, for example Python. Like that we can use grid computing in such a cases. Now we will see what are the differences between cloud computing and grid computing. We will take the basis for comparison like application focus. In cloud computing, the application focus is on business and web-based applications, whereas in grid computing it is used for collaborative purposes. Architecture used under cloud computing are client server architecture. We all know that client server architecture will go on request and response basis. The architecture used in grid computing is distributed computing, means they are connected via network. Management in cloud computing is centralized, whereas here decentralization will be there. Business model means when we want to use cloud computing, we need to pay and then use the service. Whereas in grid computing, no specific defined business model. Accessibility of service is high as it is real time in cloud computing. The accessibility of services is low because of the scheduled services. In cloud computing, we can use OpenNebula, Eucalyptus, OpenStack, etc. as a programming models. In grid computing, we can use Globus, Glite, Unicore, etc. as programming models. Resource usage patterns are centralized manner. Only specific user will use the cloud data as he pay the data. And in grid computing, it is a collaborative manner, means resource usage will be there among the group of persons. Flexibility is high in cloud computing and it is somewhat low in grid computing. Interoperability means vendor lock in and integration are some of the issues. The data will be under the vendor. The service provider will have our content, and some of the integration issues when we want to load another application to cloud from local to cloud storage, there may be some issues. Whereas in grid computing, we can easily tackle the problem. The next concept is virtualization. This topic is relevant to cloud computing because it is one of the way in which we will access services on the cloud. The remote data center may be delivering your services in a fully virtualized format. Whatever data we are accessing from cloud might be coming with the help of fully virtualized format. Okay, so now we will see what are the two virtualization concepts. Before the introduction of AMD virtualization and Intel virtualization technology, full virtualization seems to be impossible, and specific hardware combinations need to be used. So in 2005, with the introduction of AMD and Intel, these extensions made it easier to go fully virtualized. With the help of these two, we are going for full virtualization. Full virtualization has been successful for these following purposes: sharing a computer system among multiple users. In such a case also, we can go for full virtualization. Isolating users from each other and from the control program, means isolation means separating the user from each other, one another. In such a case also, we can go for virtualization, full virtualization. Emulating hardware on another machine. All these are several purposes where we need a full virtualization. This is a full virtually deployed scenario in which our company will interact with the service provider using internet. The software is running on the server and is displayed to the clients. So in full virtualization technique, the complete installation of one machine is run on another. For example, our application is completely running on the server provider's machine, and it will be displayed to the client. The result is a system in which all software running on the server is within a virtual machine. It will be in full virtualization. Next, second type of virtualization is paravirtualization. This type of virtualization allows multiple operating systems to run on single hardware device at the same time. Means we can run multiple operating system means Windows, Linux. In Linux also we have different types like SUSE Linux, Red Hat Linux, Ubuntu. Like that, we can run multiple operating systems on a single hardware device. By this, we can efficiently use the system resources like processors and memory. So, in paravirtualization, management module operates with an operating system which is loaded. Paravirtualization runs better than the full virtualization model. This is the scenario of paravirtualization deployment in which different operating systems can run simultaneously on the server machine and we will access it via internet. See here, one client is using Windows operating system, other one using, this one is SUSE Linux, logo of SUSE Linux. This one is Red Hat Linux and another company is using the operating system. So with the help of paravirtualized deployment, we can use like this. Overall, full virtualization processor power used is 100% and in paravirtualization we will use 96 percentage. Paravirtualization is best suited in these three types of deployments. Means when there is a power failure, disaster recovery. When there is a power failure, we need to move the data to another equipment so that that equipment can be repaired and it can move to the original hardware. So in such a cases, we can move guest instances can be moved to other hardware until the equipment can be repaired. In such a case also we can use paravirtualization. Migration. Moving to a new system is easier and faster because guest instances can be removed from the underlying hardware. When we use migration means when the guest instances should be moved from one to another. Migration means moving from one system to another system. Here we want to move the guest instances from the underlying hardware to any new hardware. In that scenario also paravirtualization is best to opt. Capacity management. Because of easier migrations, capacity management is simpler to implement. Means when we want more processing power or hard drive capacity in a virtual environment, we can easily add to it. Up to now, we have discussed about What is meant by grid computing? Differentiation between grid computing and cloud computing, virtualization, and in that topic, full virtualization and para virtualization. Now we will see services are in cloud computing, under that software as a service. Many different services are provided in cloud computing, and one of the service is software as a service. It is the model, means software as a service is the model in which an application is hosted as a service to customers who access it via the internet. Means the total software will be hosted and accessed via the internet. For example, we have already discussed about Google Docs, where we will not load Microsoft Office or any Word software, Word related software, but we can use that application. Is nothing but software as a service. So, what the service it is providing? Without installation of that software, without having that software, we can easily use that application via the internet. So what are the uses? If you are not loading WPS software, like that, whatever you want to open for a Word document, you need not install that application, that app. You need not maintain it, you need not support it. All these are advantages when the application is not on the customer machine, customer's machine. It is hosted under the server. The service provider will take care about the software updations, software problems, all he will take care. So the provider will do all the patching and the upgrades, as well as keeping the infrastructure running. He will take care that application will run in a smooth way. Just we need to pay for that particular software, and we can directly get that software as a service via the internet, and the clients can easily use that application. Many types of software are available under software as a service model. Some of the applications which are already under software as a service are in customer resource management, in video conferencing, accounting, web analytics, web content management. All these applications are involved in high powered applications which are benefited from SaaS, SaaS, software as a service. So benefits are, it costs less money than buying the application. When the company wants to develop that software, it might cost more than this cloud software as a service. The service provider can offer cheaper, more reliable applications than organizations can buy by themselves. So benefits are, we need only smaller staff, as there is no development in the company. Smaller staff is enough. So we will avoid the overhead of salaries. the building space, all we can avoid. Customization will be done under SaaS applications. Familiarity with the World Wide Web means, and we can get an idea about how to use it on the World Wide Web. That application, how we can use it on www. Whatever application we are getting, it becomes familiar in the World Wide Web. And better marketing, there is a scope for better marketing. The service provider who had developed that application software will have a better marketing options as it is known to entire world. The entire world can see that that software is available, and the service provider will obviously get benefited with the software as a service approach. And security, we can trust the software applications. And web reliability, as the bandwidth has also been increased, means we are getting good speed than before. So with the more bandwidth, we can access the application with good speed. There will be low latencies. Obstacles means limitations under SaaS are availability of the application, performance issues, maybe sometimes when the server is down, or we are not having connectivity. If the internet service fails, we cannot use that application through internet. Like that, some of the limitations are there under SaaS. This is one of the example which explains about our traditional type of maintaining application in a company. When we use infrastructure as a service approach, when we use platform as a service approach, when we use software as a service approach. See here, all the green ones are vendor managed, means the service provider will manage these steps. All the blue ones we need to manage, means the company need to manage. This is one of the example in which we are supposed to make your pizza at home versus dine out. When we make a pizza at home, that is traditional basis, we need to arrange all these cases by ourselves. No one is helping, and we need not pay them. We will get them to our home, and we will prepare them. But take and bake. See here, infrastructure as a service means we are getting it for rent, infra rent. Dining table, soda, electric or gas oven, like this. All the blue ones, if we manage all these four or five things, all these things will be maintained by the vendor in infra as a service. Whereas here, platform as a service, if we have just dining and soda, all these things will be done by the vendor, and he gives the pizza delivered. If we dined out means software as a service. We are not going to prepare any one of these steps, and we will simply sit out and we will pay them. They will get and we will eat, like this. All these steps will be managed by the service provider itself. I have chosen this example because you will understand better in which type of service, what are the steps the service provider will handle can be easily understood. Okay, students, frequently asked questions in this session are: what is virtualization? You need to have an idea about full virtualization and para-virtualization, differences between cloud and grid computing, and short notes on grid computing. As an assignment, you identify what are the different software as a service application companies are there, how many companies are there, among that who are the topper, like that you search and you do this activity and submit it via Google Classroom. Thank you. End of this session. Thank you.